What's good, everyone? This is your boy DJ's Raw and Cut Truth, giving you that raw content that you deservedly need. And today's video, we're going to talk about the impact that Kevin Samuels is having on YouTube. The brother, he's on fire right now. He talks about relationships. He talks about the scientists between men and women. He gets in the mind of what it really means to be in a good relationship or in a bad relationship. Uh, Hoop jargon. What do you think Kevin Samuels and his YouTube channel means to brothers like us who seek for truth?
Yeah, it's skipping a little bit, brother. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, they got you sound like Klingon, but yeah, man. So I got the gist of what we speaking about, man. And yeah, Kevin Samuels is just in a space right now where he's basically taking a whole part of like conversation, like you said, with relationships, and kind of taking the veil off of a lot of from the female perspective, and you kind of see that in the dating world. The reality is 1 out of 4 black women, that's usually his audience, black women get married. And that's not a good percentage. But yet they have very high expectations for dating. And so what you see is a guy like Samuels has ripped the proverbial Band-Aid off of that discussion. And it ain't pretty, man. And so, and as we gonna kind of discuss, man, it's just hard start a whole new, ecosystem of his own, starting from his show, man.
Absolutely. One thing that is the truth about our community, the Black community, uh, the marriage rate is not high at all. We're not marrying each other for some reason. I think one of the reasons is lack of communication, um, not allowing the man to have a role. Ever since the beginning of time, the man was always the leader of the house. When a man does not have a leadership role, that leads to disarray. When something happens with the family and you look up to your husband or your boyfriend and he's a beta male, that spells doom for the relationship. Example, let's say there's a couple, right? And the mortgage needs to be paid. The wife or girlfriend is going to look at that guy like, what are we going to do? If he is a beta male, if he's a simp, he's going to ask her. He's going to be like, babe, what are we going to do? We got this mortgage to pay. And then she's going to look at him like, you're supposed to be the leader of the household. See, this is what Kevin Samuels is talking about. We got to get to the roles of balance. When a relationship has no balance, there is no family. Let me repeat that. When a relationship has no balance, there is no family.
Yep, and that's facts. And the sad part is, in our particular community, we both are melanated brothers. That is something that is prevalent. And what happens is, you talk about simps, you talk about beta males. When you raise this huge group of males, it's hard to say men sometimes. What you're doing is you just keep manufacturing that same ilk of guys that aren't ready. And most of them don't learn it until they're about 35, which is unfortunate. You should learn this, in your mid-20s, early 30s, but you're not learning at 35, 40. And by the time it hits you, man, a whole bunch of life done passed you by, right? Juxtapose that with a lot of women who are raised under that same ilk. I mean, and you got a lot of women who do well for themselves. They're successful, but they don't know how to be wives. And I think Kevin does a great job of shedding light on that path that we've been raising women to be independent. Listen to Beyonce. You need a soldier. You a independent woman. All the while, this chick is married. This chick is married the whole time, giving you these messages that are hindering you from doing the same. So I think that's what his space does so well, because you kind of exposing the old myths that all these dudes are dusty, all these dudes ain't earning. And when you look at the income, black men are out earning black women. So this myth that these dudes out here in jail and not earning money is just not true. And so again, not to ramble, but that's where this space is dominating right now, man. And that's why I'm just so excited about talking about this, brother.
Exactly. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Rev. Shout out to 704 Bound. Shout out to True the King. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. I like what Flourish King said. Flourish King said, quote, unrealistic financial expectations from Black women and lack of leadership skills from some Black men. That's the downfall.
Word up.
That is the downfall. If you talk with most sisters around the world, they'll tell you they're looking for a guy like this and that. But you look at the sister and you're like, the expectation is so unrealistic. So you want a guy that look like Shamar Moore, Morris Chestnut, or whatever they said, right? But if you look at her, that's out her range. That's why I like what Kevin Samuels does his videos. There was this one video, this girl says she's a model. You look at her, she look like a female Mr. Ed. I'm no kidding. So the expectations are not real at all. Chad Ochocinco, shout out to him, said this on Twitter a couple years back. He says you got to be around your wage, meaning whatever your income is, whatever your lifestyle is, you have to go with that match. If not, it's going to be hell and high water. Like, don't you see a lot of chicks, right? They get with a guy out their range, right? The guy cheats. Now she says that all guys are cheaters, which is not true. No, the guy you mess with is a cheater. So they go back to those stereotypes and they say Black man ain't ish, Black man can't lead, but you are who you choose.
That's facts. I mean, that's in anything in life, man. You show me your career path. If it's not successful, I'll show you your preparation. You didn't put yourself in position to get the job that you thought you wanted 10 years ago. You show me the college you went to, and I'll show you your lack of preparation in high school. So you show me the women you date, and I'll show you what you built yourself to be. And this goes for women and men as far as dating, that you get a lot of people who complain about what they meet when they're single, when they can't meet what they want. But what spirit are you letting off on your own? Like, what do you qualify for? And we live in a society like, and I'm gonna digress a little bit, brother. If that's okay. When I played basketball professionally in Europe, I just went around like United States is just better than everybody. And what I quickly found out was a lot of Europeans are way smarter than me. They have a lot better skills. They're just not in an economy that gives them the same opportunities that I have. Now it helps that I'm 6'7", so that gave me a leg up in society or in the world. Let me say that. But if I were the size of them with the skills I had, it would be a lot tougher for me. You know what I mean? So I learned to start viewing the world, viewing my situation more realistically. Because I live in an inflated society in America, but if I put myself in Cameroon, Africa, if I put myself in Stockholm, Australia, was it Stockholm, Ireland, I would have a harder time. If I put myself in Japan, I would have a harder time. So I say all to say this. A lot of people don't understand when you're in the dating market, there are certain aspects that in yourself, you may think you have an inflated sense of self, but the world keeps showing you that what you putting out, nobody wants, or at least not the level that you say you are looking for. And I think Brother Samuels does a great job of exposing that spirit and bringing people to reality. Because it seems like nobody wants average, but the reality is most people are average. So why are you tripping off average? You know what I mean? And so I think that's a great, revelatory, which it shouldn't be revelatory thing that Kevin Samuels is bringing right now. And that's why he got YouTube on fire.
Yeah, let's cut the ish, man. I'm gonna go with the root of the problem. See, today's female, they look at Atlanta housewives, Real Housewives of LA, and they see it and they imagine themselves as those women. But in reality, they're like every other woman. And that's the problem. You got to know who you are. People will not admit this, but most of us are average people. We're not millionaires. We don't have a $5 million yacht. We're not balling like that. The brother 757TL said, and this was real too. He said, quote, some women so damaged, they think if you are not cheating, you can be lame. That's powerful. And I've seen it before. I've seen women say, that's weird that you don't cheat. I expected you to cheat before. These are the responses that most brothers hear from women. They're surprised when a brother says, I don't be cheating like that, man. I just stick to one woman. I don't like the drama. They're like, what? You don't cheat? But it all stems from parenting. We're going to put out the elephant in the room. Most, not all, of our sisters are raised without a father. And without that male guidance, they're lost. So all they look up to is mama and her bad relationships. And they think that's reality. When in fact it's not. It's they get indoctrinated into hating men. Trust me, if they had a father who showed them love, what a man looks like, do you think they would, most of them, do you think they would be acting the fool like they are now?
Hell no. Hell no. And that kind of goes into like a whole nother discussion, man. I'm glad you opened this door, bro, because what we see in society is people are afraid to speak like a patriarch, which means man leading a household. We've been told most of our lives, especially if you're close to my age, that, well, it's normalized that the matriarchy dominates the household, meaning your big mama, auntie, they pretty much run the family. And I'm gonna keep it a bean, man. If that shit ain't ass backwards, I don't know what is. And I get it. That's most of our realities. You know what I mean? And so we got to disavow that because it's something that's been pitched to us to keep us low, and it permeates through us. In our relationships. Like, how many dudes I know my age, I'm 37, who are married and are miserable because they have no say in their own goddamn relationship because they never were told how a man should run a household. So they got married to their little sweetheart they had at about 25, 26, living in hell in their own household. Always talking about how much they hate their kids because you get the little blended family thing. The girl that had a kid already, so you taking them in. I know a lot of dudes in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And they're scared to speak up because you never establish a standard. So most women are gonna move how you establish. So if you never establish it, you can't double back and start trying to do it because you never laid that out. And I think a lot of brothers, because you get so caught up in this fall in love paradigm where you're not just leading like a fucking man. And that's why this date market is so struggle for a lot of females because to their credit, a lot of dudes weren't raised properly to know how to dictate the terms of engagement. And Kevin Samuel says it best, man. Men control the access of relationships, women control the access to sex. So the earlier you figure this dynamic out, the more pleasant your interactions with females will be. So, and it's just, it's just crazy, man. You sit back and me and DJ gonna play a video of a female struggling with this very concept off his show. But you see so much of this shit, and I'm gonna say it, dudes, you gotta stop being pussies, man. I'm in a good, fruitful relationship, and to be perfectly honest with you, I laid that shit out all the way. I was like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. And a lot of dudes are scared to do that because they want to come off, you don't want to be a misogynist, blah, 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 blah. And you can't let these terms dictate your actions because a misogynist means you have a hatred for women. So obviously, if you're looking for a woman, you don't have a hatred for women. So y'all can't let these bullshit ass terms dictate your moves and stagnate your growth and stagnate you, having a family presiding over yours and raising, offspring that are going to keep your legacy going. So we got to keep all this shit in mind as we discuss shit like this, man.
Powerful brother, man. And the brother John Wick said, He was trying to be slick with it, but shout out to John Wick. He said a lot of them have fathers. LOL. So he's saying that the women we talk about have fathers too. Here's the difference. Yeah, they can have fathers, but is that father a leader? Is that father the head of his house? Is that father setting the example? Because it's true, there are broken homes that come from two parent families as well, but it's the percentages are not that high.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it a buck. And hoop jargon, am I echoing?
You sound all right on my end, bro.
Okay. Yeah, the percentages are not high. So anyone who knows me, DJ's Raw Uncut Truth, I'm all about analytics. So I'm gonna go with the analytics. The analytics say it's better for a child to live with a stable two-parent home. It's the only way for them to grow up to see what structure looks like. Now, we all know that there are exceptions to the rule. There are some kids who survived uh, having a single mother, but they will tell you that they wish they had a father. I know plenty of folks who went to college, got their degrees, that say every day, like, man, I know I accomplished this, but it would have been great if I had a father.
You can keep going, bro. My shit skipping a little bit.
All right, no doubt. Uh, Casanova says, and scorn single mothers who had daughters who tried to live through their daughters. I've seen
Bingo.
that. I've seen that before, man. I've seen that, man. I remember when I went to college, man. This had to be like 2012. Now, there's a girl I was seeing. We didn't date, but we were seeing each other, right? And I went to her house. Her own mother was wearing like a tank top bra and some leggings. I'm like, why is her mother wearing this while I'm in her presence? But they try to live vicariously through their daughters because they didn't have the life and the chance that their daughter had. They didn't have that. So they live like they're young and they don't even act their age.
I mean, I just crimes to you to say, man, childs with breasts. That's what a lot of women, not all, a lot of women, that's the archetype that they fit growing up in this society because you're told that your looks will get you all the places you're going to go. So basically, the problem is looks are most women's currency in the dating market, right? So as long as you got your looks intact, you can get what you want. And usually around like 40, 45 is when women's looks like really taper off and they become like a real human being in this world that you can deal with. Funny, man, my cousin, man, I keep her name out of this. She's a doctor, successful doctor in Houston. She's been married since about 28. And we have talks like this all the time. And she's married to a very much a high esteemed male. You know, he's an alpha male. He's part of the fraternity I'm part of, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Guy who has a lot of clout. He used to be a university professor. She herself, as a married woman, when I told her, you know, about most women don't mature to 45 and that's about her age, she's like, you're right. Because when I got around that age, I started learning that it ain't about me. Even though she got two successful young men she raised, in her mind, in her mind of minds, she still, in her mind, viewed it as everything's about her. This nice little Cosby life that she has, she still was thinking everything's about her. And when she said, when she knew she couldn't do nothing about them no more, she was like, yo, damn, it ain't about me. I need to be more about my boys and building them forward. So even a married woman struggles with the same concept. So think about these women who are single. And she has a lot of single friends. It was funny, me and her took a picture at Papado. If y'all know in the South, that's a popular restaurant chain. And she posted on Facebook. I had these 40-year-old women, inboxing me and shit. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, because a lot of women in that age, they still struggle with that same very thing. And I'll ask them backstories about these women. They single, don't have a kid or have a kid, think they're going to find this guy who makes all this money. And, I'm tall. They want a tall, statuesque man. I'm just like, but I don't want you. Like, you can't give me a kid. I can't procreate with you. And a lot of women struggle with this, is the point I'm making. And to go back to the whole discussion, you got to understand, man, a lot of these women, they got this psychosis that they dealing with, to think that your money or your career is going to carry you. But no, man, if you get in with a guy, like I got that covered, a guy, who got some, has something going for himself. I'm not looking for an equal partner, because that's not how it's rolling. It's not how it's rolling at all. And in this dating market, it's so saturated because we talked about the beta males. They don't know how to establish that to a woman. So it's all conflated. And again, that's where Brother Samuels comes in and hammers this point down. And that's why men, and mostly women, listen to his channel, even though if you listen to it, the bulk of it is him kind of slapping the taste out of women's mouths, proverbially speaking, about like, get your mind right. If you want to get what you want, you have a 1 in 4 chance as a black woman to get married. Get your mind right. Stop playing in the clouds. You're not a prize. There are women everywhere, and especially if you live in Atlanta, like Rev. It's a 17-to-1 ratio. So why are you playing around when in your goal you say is to get a husband, to get a man, and you're here playing like this man supposed to go out his way to find you when it's a 17-to-1 ratio? Makes no goddamn sense.
Right on. And shout out to Shara Johnson. Shara Johnson pointed out that she wished she had the father too. See, that's the examples I talk about, that women who get it. Women who get that, they wish they had that void filled. It takes a lot of courage to admit that, and it makes you a better person when you know your reality. To say, when you go around the social web and you see some women, not all, say that men ain't shit, they could do without men. When a young man hears that, he's brainwashed to grow up to understand that my life doesn't matter as a man. I have no responsibility. And what that's going to do, and I'm warning you, what it's going to do is produce weak males. They will never overcome adversity. They would never know how to fight battles. They would never know how to lead a relationship into prosperity. Without leadership, without structure, there's no home to go to. There's no prosperous life. The life that you dream of is all gone. There will be a lot of divorces, breakups, and chaos. So until we get to the basic structure of how to build families, it's going to be a long lasting pendulum.
That's facts. And that's the fundamental part. And I try to sway brothers all the time from this bullshit concept of being a victim. Women already perfected that art. Like, stop being a victim, learn how to lead, and that's it. And as much as, again, his content talks to women, the overarching point is a lot of men, they struggle being leaders, man. Because again, you taking in all this, and no knock to my liberal leaning brothers in this chat, but when you take on liberal ideologies, you tend to lean towards being a victim. You want to blame racism for everything. You want to blame social, economic, disadvantage to, for you not getting to where you want to get. Man, I'm from the hood in Houston, bro. Acres Home, Texas, bro. You can get yourself out of whatever. I'm not hearing that shit. You know what real poverty is in Brazil, in the favelas? Like when you are basically grown up in a dirt hut. That's real poverty. Not even Chicago shit. Like, you still live in a housing project, which that's tough. Don't get me wrong. Marcy projects in New York, shit like that is tough. But you still got functioning lights. You got AC. You got a place where you can secure your household. So that's enough to work with. Now, is it put you on an equal plane with your competitors for other races? No, it does not. However, you got enough to work with. So I just want a lot of brothers to break that spirit of being a victim, because everybody has a story. Everybody. You ask any and everybody, how was your upbringing? And most people are gonna say, oh, I had it hard, or I had this wasn't fair, this wasn't that. I mean, that's unavoidable. But what you gonna do with what you got? And once you get what you got, what are you going to do to lead another human being and others little small human beings? What are you going to do with that? So I put the onus on brothers, man, at the end of the day. So I don't have sympathy. I don't have pity for weak people. I just don't. Because in this world, it's sink or swim all the way through. And when brothers emanate that spirit, your life will go so much better when you don't give yourself an out, because your natural human instinct is to make an excuse. That's effortless. So I'm glad we got a chance to cipher and build on this kind of thing, man, because it needs to be said. And a lot of y'all brothers need to get y'all shit together. Y'all need to get y'all shit right. Because the reason why a lot of these women act the way they do, because nobody ever gave it to them that way. So they always been told it's all right, don't worry, sis. And you got niggas out here simping. So they don't have a standard to adhere to, especially in the black community. Golly. So these kind of discussions are so important because to establish a standard. And once we get a standard, we move forward and we will have so much more success out here, man.
All right. Shout out to Ruben. He's in the house. What you think about this discussion, my brother?
I'm 37 now, but I've been reading and learning about this topic since I was 18. Um, and Revolution Radio was laughing at me in the chat, but if you actually listen to Jesse Lee Peterson, this is the very basis of what he talks about every day. He talks about beta male, how to become a man. He's trying to develop the man, and the problem is that most of these men are raised by women, and they don't have a good example of what a man is. So you know, uh, they follow after their mother. They come from a spirit of a woman, and they're not. They they fight. They just it's just bad. The black man is destroyed pretty much, but he can fix himself. He just has to change who he become a better person. Read some books or find a mentor, someone who he can follow. You know, uh, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, before I go on, Shara Johnson, she's here. I want to get her input. What do you think on this topic and what we're trying to discuss on the impact of Kevin Samuels in this kind of content?
So, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think like we have to uh, uh, stop. Like there's a big stereotype that men believe that all women we're this way, or we all don't grow up to a certain age. It's I think like it goes back to how the guy was just talking about from like even with the male, it's about your upbringing, your perspective, your mentality. So I always explain it to people like this. There's three stages of life for a female. You are a girl, you are a lady, and then you are a woman. Just because you are over the age of 30 does not make you a woman. You still have to get that mentality, that wisdom that comes along with it. Not every female thinks, oh, because my body is a certain way, I look a certain way, uh that I'm going to be able to attract a certain man, or a man has to have bring a big wallet. That's not always the case. Those women that are like that have always been taught uh, to allow their beauty to bring things to them. uh, I was raised, my mother is a baby boomer, so I was raised old school. I was taught to uh, that I had to have brains and beauty. So, like in my life, I've worked hard for everything. I did everything the right way. Uh, but that still don't make it where where you'll have a man that wants to build what we call maybe the American dream, where you have a nice family, a nice home, and uh, take vacations and all those type of things. But uh, I just feel like as a woman that's entering into my 40s, my perspective, I look at it like you have to look at the mentality and the mindset of a woman because of that female, because she may not be a woman. Her mindset may not be of a woman. Like you have to get to that mindset and maturity and understanding that it's not about you. It's about the relationship. The relationship is about give and take. You don't have to have a man that makes a six-figure income and then you work at Burger King. That's not the mentality of a woman, because a woman understands that, excuse me, it's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with the money. There's people that I know that make well over $100,000, but I don't know what they do with that money, but that's how much money they're making. I'll stop right there. I mean, I don't know.
Powerful, powerful sister. And one thing I want to say, I don't think it's a conservative or a liberal thing. I just think it's the mindset of what type of human you are. You're
Correct.
as for a man, you're either about leadership and being a guide for the lady you have, or you're going to be a weakling. It's either or. And for a woman, you're going to either understand the right way to be in a relationship and be by that guy's side, or are you going to be the materialistic girl who are all about money, all about status, and not realistic? Whoever you associate with is who you are. I know they said that's taboo, but it's truth. Just like if you're around a lot of malcontents, you're going to be that same type of malcontent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the pendulum theory. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, it's going to bite you back in the rear end. I don't care who you are.
Facts.
We got to keep it real. And we got Shanker in the house, man. Shanker, what's your opinion on this topic?
Man, what a topic. This is a great conversation. I mean, I've been married 24 years this month, and I get asked all the time by friends, colleagues, how do I do it? You know, being a younger dad, a younger husband, and doing this. And you guys hit on, I mean, Hoop Jargon was hitting on a formula that I used earlier on, about how to select my wife. And this started when I was 20, 21 years old. I got tired of I came back. Number one, like you said, I came from a mother father home, strong background, strong, church bringing, all that. So me and my brother both just didn't see a lot of womanizing and stuff going on. That wasn't my dad's forte. When we brought up, even with my uncles, everybody had a wife. All my aunts and uncles were all married. There wasn't a lot of divorce going on. So I kind of set my own standards for wanting a woman who didn't have a bad relationship first off with her family. Had a good relationship with the siblings, had a good relationship with moms and pops, didn't have issues there. I started changing the priority of, am I looking for the fast, sprint car right now? Or am I looking for the long game and get out of this so I can start pocketing my money? Because as a brother, we need to, when you invest in yourself and set yourself up, no matter how what age you are, then that's, like you said, that's the ground, that's the level you should set for yourself when you're meeting somebody. They shouldn't, they might be hot, have all the fake boob, the fake booty and all that stuff and work at Burger King, and you over here then made yourself an executive. Why are you stepping down, or vice versa? So that's something that I used. I had at the time 3 jobs. I had produced my own place. I had went through college. Why should I continue to date women that can't bring the same to the plate? So I made up my mind with that. So those type of things I laid out on the table. And when I met my wife, I didn't care about all the other stuff, it was more about, can you meet these criteria? I'm not going to bend on these things. Your relationship with your folks, are you a good person? And, can we build? That's what I looked at 21. So by 23, when she said, it only took me that year to know she was the one to go ahead. I didn't need to date for 5 years. I didn't need to, consider, because when you're doing that, to me, that's just, you're looking for something else. You ain't satisfied yet. But when you make up your mind that you're ready to take a step into manhood, like my dad always told me, he didn't see it as, you're not a man until you take on a family and take on those responsibilities and be able to produce that. You didn't get that credit in my house until you was doing the same at that same level. You had educated yourself, got the career and all that. So I think put your priorities straight. on what you want to do, what you want out of your own life. We don't, as black men, we don't get our own priorities straight, and we want to bring somebody else into it, because we want an arm trophy or something like that. You can always have that. You can produce that, but you have to be worth that. And that's the thing about it. When brothers, I go and I talk to, youth authorities at the California institutions of prisons and stuff like that. I go in and talk to these young men about some of the I call it the crossroads. I always taught my son about the crossroads. You're gonna come at that point in your life where you're gonna make one decision to go one way or the other. And that decision is gonna be critical 20 years from now. Not right now, but 20 years from now. And that's what my dad always taught me. He told me, the decision you're making right now is gonna happen 20 years from now. You're gonna see the results of it. So in choosing my wife, it was more about where can we be 20 years from now. And when I made up my mind, there's no reason to quit playing around and playing all them games or go out. Because once you find the right thing, you need to work on that. Black men, black women, any color, you need to invest in that. With all these housewife shows, if you look at them, they're all divorced. Why? Because they're not working on that. They're working on other stuff. And that becomes secondary, third dairy, fourth dairy. They don't even care about being parents after a while. It's about fame, stardom, and money. Well, I can achieve all of those things with the same person I'm at, but we all know our roles. I know my role. I know what I'm dependent on, what I have to be able to bring to the table every day. She knows what her role is. I don't cross into her lane. She don't cross into mine. That's how we get along. That's how it works. It's not about dominating. It's not about one person being in power. It's about working as a unit and knowing your roles. And we don't learn that as youth because we're chasing the bigger prize. We want money. We want all this fame, stardom, all that other stuff that we value more. Calm that down. Go back to, that's why the world is kind of screwed up right now. We got away from putting God first. And you go back into putting family, putting ourselves, putting God first, and all these other things will fall into place. That's just my, thank you for letting me speak that.
And I want to say real quick before anybody interjects. And so, and here's where a gentleman like this wins. You learn that at 21. Brothers who really get that good gospel don't get it to like their mid to late 30s. And that's what the problem is systemically with our culture, is that there is no culture. So your family gave you that culture. They gave you that structure. They gave you expectation. Like, yeah, you can bring some arm candy, but it don't mean shit till you put a ring on it and you got stability. We don't do that in our culture. And that's why our dating market is so jacked up, because most dudes don't even know what they're looking for. And I mean, God, women definitely know what they're looking for. And that's the biggest part of why 1 out of 4 black women don't get married, because there's so much dysfunction amongst the populace. So I think that was very powerful words you laid out, bro.
Thank you, man. That's what, I feel like we need to have that. I mean, I've been married 24 years. It's not something that I ever think about like, wow, this is a long time, until somebody else tells me, damn, you've been married a long time. Well, my brother, he's 8 years older than me. He's been married 27 years. And it's not something that we planned on, like saying, okay, when you get with somebody or you find somebody, my dad always told me you have to value yourself first. And just like you get in a car and driving crazy and you say, well, I'm not going to kill myself. Why would I kill you? You got to think of that in a marriage. If I value myself, that means do the best you can to educate yourself. Do the best you can to get as far as you can already. So, don't expect to date, like you said, out of your bank book. If I don't have an apartment, if I don't have my own place or own house, but yet I want this girl who has all these looks and faves, you wonder why she gonna look at other guys when they come around. I'm not ready for that yet. But if I have my own properties and all this stuff, then I have a portfolio to bring to the table. I'm not so dependent on what you can do, but I'm looking for somebody who can bring to the table with me so we can build together. That concept you have to figure out is, do I want to date and have this flash and be able to show everybody what I got? Or do I want to create and build and secure what I have? And there's a big mix up, with a lot of the culture that we have right now, because it's all about flash now, glow, glam, all that, gold, everything. Like, whew, that kills me. That kills me when I see it. I hate when I see it, and then we wonder why we can't build structure, because we don't have value. We haven't valued ourselves yet. So stop doing that. And the relationships will all sisters, I can't blame them for where they are. You can't blame them. There hasn't been a better portfolio that we've produced to show them either. We have to produce the product to where they want to say, that's the type of man I want. And it goes back to, it circles all the way back to having that father in the house, having the
Mhm.
upbringing from both sides. I had Southern parents, so I had Southern, spare the rod, spoil the child type of upbringing. Now my sons are in the same boat. I got two boys, the ball ages, and everybody wonders why they're not womanizing and doing all this. Well, they didn't see me doing it. They didn't see me doing it. They didn't see their uncles doing it. They didn't see anybody else in our family doing it. My grandfather, none of it. So they don't know that. And if you don't teach them that, they don't have that want to go out and desire that. So I just, as fathers, we do have to temper down. We want to talk about a woman's, looks or her, why we would value her over another one. Don't. Don't show your son that. Let them figure out what a good woman's supposed to be by the mother, by their aunts or their examples, and then encourage that. Exactly what, I'm doing with my sons, what I've done with them. When they come to me and they have girlfriends, now they don't leave them. They stay with them for a while. They'll probably be, my daughter-in-law soon, but they've already, graduated college. They're interning at different firms. They're doing what they have to do. They're self-maintaining. They got their own places. They live on their own cars, all that. They're not dependent on me. So now they're bringing women to the same level that they're at. So it keeps carrying on. So it's generational, and I think we focus on that, everything else falls into place, finance and all that. But we worry so much about chasing the gold, and we forget that we do need to build as a community, as a unit.
And let me add on to that. I think most I like what you did, Shanker.
Mhm.
Instead of just saying it's the man's fault of this, you said that us brothers have to expand our portfolio. So we may have critiques about today's women, right? But we all must admit that it doesn't absolve us brothers for doing better into setting the example. We can't make excuses. Well, since women cheat, we got to be just like them. We got to do this. No, 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 no. If you stay to yourself, keep it real, establish integrity, one day you'll find a great woman. But if you look for women and you're chasing them, you're going to get what you have been getting the rest of your years. Ain't shit chicks. Excuse my language.
Right.
And I want to, before we get to brother DZ, shout out to DZ King in the house. Jay Strokes been waiting to talk on the subject. What's your opinion on the topic, my brother?
First of all, thank you for having me. Shout outs to everybody here and everything. I guess I'm a little confused because I saw that the thing was about Kevin Samuel, but it seemed like we're in a different direction. So, can I get a little bit of context, I guess, as to what we're discussing about?
Well, as you know, Kevin Samuels, he talks about everything regarding to the manosphere, having to improve relationships between man and woman. What can women do better? What can men do better? So we're pretty much saying that his channel has had an effect on YouTube. And what does his channel mean to you in improvement of uh, the communication, the the way that black men and women can have better relationships, one day get married, have better statistics? How can that improve?
Okay, gotcha. Um, so I've been following Kevin for a couple years. I first found out about Kevin through BGS Impmore. Shout outs to him. Uh, so I've been following Kevin for a little bit. The thing about Kevin, and I've noticed this online, a lot of women in particular don't like him because of his approach. And the thing with Kevin is talking about, I guess, what we would call the 80-20 rule, where, 80% of the women want that top 20% of men. And so his dialogue 9 times out of 10 is, is designated to that because he would be one of those top 10, top 20% of men that a lot of women aim for, due to things like hypergamy and stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. What Kevin has done is he shined a light on the communicative discrepancies between Black men and Black women. So women have a thought process of what they want, or as he'll sometimes say, feel entitled to, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't always line up with what those men that they're seeking actually want. And so a lot of them end up getting upset due to him breaking it down for them. Now, on the flip side, there's a lot of women who, as he'll say, don't qualify for those kind of men. Now, just because you're one of those top 20, top 10%, or let me say it this way, because you're not one of those guys doesn't mean you're not a good man. And because you're not one of those top 20, top 10% of women don't mean you're a good woman. What he's more so aiming to do is to say, okay, look, be honest with yourself first. Acknowledge who and what you are, and also be truthful about it. Then go get understanding about what you're looking for, because it may not be accurate or what you think it is. And then adjust yourself for that. So again, one of the things he likes to harp on is the communication between us. And I often tell a lot of my lady friends this. You got to learn to master yourself before you try to learn and master someone else. A lot of us are trying to get into relationships with people without knowing who we are, what we are, and we're trying to do that while taking it, or learn that while taking it to someone else. A lot of us have not been educated properly, and this is not gender specific, this is men and women. A lot of us have not been educated properly on ourselves or our positions in each other's lives. And because of that, we devalue or undervalue certain things and overvalue things in other places. I know I'm 33 years old. I've been married, I've been divorced. A lot of the stuff that I looked for, thought about in women when I was 20 is not the same way I look at now. Right? And the development process I had to go through post-marriage, post-divorce to become a better man is far different than the projection I thought I was going to have back in my younger 20s. But it has helped me as a man to identify the kind of women I need. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't take the time to acknowledge my failings as a man and as a male in line with what I was thinking, and the women that I couldn't get or didn't get if I didn't go and figure out what it was I was missing. So, as a lot of people I listen to like to say, it's self-improvement first. If you have an issue, look at yourself and fix yourself. Elevate yourself first. Then go out and try to look. 9 times out of 10, if you start with yourself first, you'll uncover the root issues of the problem. And I've learned once you correct yourself, the kind of people you won't tend to just come into your life, whether you ask for it or not. So, and this is just my opinion, I think what we as people, Black people in the community, we have to get to this point of being truthful about ourselves, our good and our bad, and not all bad is terrible. We got to get used to that, talk about that, be okay and accept certain things within ourselves, and then look to find another mate or someone to grow with long term. But I think it all starts with the pre-dating. Before we even get into that, we have to establish things within ourselves culturally first, as men and as women, before we decide to enter that dating market.
Powerful, bro. That was very powerful. And that's what Kevin Samuel's channel is doing. it has you reflecting on what you have to do individually to improve, to be in a relationship. Um, it's never easy. You know, there has to be a lot of self-reflecting. You have to really look in the mirror and say, am I doing everything right? Am I in a position to have a relationship? Am I in a position to one day be married? We don't think about that enough because we have this mindset that everything is a given. And we're going to have Hoop Jargon uh, show a video real quick. You still there, Hoop Jargon?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Set it up.
All right, so I'm gonna play the audio for reasons of if you follow Kevin's page, you know it's a potential chance of getting demonetized. So the video is about 14 minutes. So I want y'all to listen, man. This is kind of how his show goes. He talks to women one-on-one. He picks and prod, and the sister is what you would call one of the hotep ladies, which would describe the thumbnail. And you can kind of see how he picks and prods, and these are the people who we go out and see in everyday life who struggle in the dating pool. So without further ado, let me get it rolling.
Room. Nobody.
Okay, what do you got for me?
Nothing. I just seen this live and it said, "Why so angry?" Question and answer. I was just trying to understand what was going on. I just tuned in.
You follow my channel or my content?
I actually seen you.
Okay, do you have me on another phone?
Sir?
Do you have me on another phone?
No, this is my phone.
Because I mean, we're getting background. We're getting background feedback.
Hold on.
Like on CV or something.
Okay, how about now?
Hello?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
That's right. So you don't follow my content, so you just decided to jump on Instagram Live and do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do
I
it then.
did see a video of you one time.
All right.
It went
Do you have any
viral.
kids?
Sir?
Do you have any children?
Yes, sir.
How many kids?
I have 2.
Are you married?
No, sir.
Are you married to either one of their fathers?
It's not either one of their fathers. It's the same father, sir.
Okay. You don't have to call me sir. We don't do that.
Okay.
I just know what's going on with the. So, do you want to ever be married one day?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Would you like to have any more kids one day?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes. Yes.
All right. So, why didn't you marry their dad?
Well, the reason I did not marry him is because, for one, that was my first real relationship. I was 19 years old.
Okay.
It was a learning experience for me. The older I got, the wiser I got, and I just realized that we are not meant for each other. We are only meant for co-parenting, and it works well.
How long ago did you guys break up?
We broke up way back in 2015.
So what was the last relationship you had since then?
I actually haven't. I told myself the next relationship that I do get in, I will be self-prepared for it.
Okay.
Meaning I'm gonna learn how to love myself more, my self-care, just inner self, loving myself in and out before I reach that type of level, and also my energy. I'm conserving my energy because I swear to you, my next relationship has to be my best relationship because I'm too old for this. I feel like I'm getting too old. I'm at that time.
What do you do for a living?
I am a pharmacy technician and I am also a tarot card reader.
All right, so let's stop and discuss right now because he kind of, when she said that, he stepped back and like, okay, that's a lot to take in. So DJ, I'll let you start the discussion off. But what are you taking off of discussion so far, brother?
What I'm taking the discussion is the same problem with today's female. They don't even know what they are. You know, they may have a good job. They may point out that they're very educated, that they got a degree, but what else can they provide besides the accolades? What can they put into a relationship? Because I tell you this, I've seen so many couples, man. They could each have the best degrees, the best job, but the relationship ends up like hell and high water. So Kevin is asking her questions of substance, and she's out here bringing up, well, this, I'm a pharmacy tech. It. It really doesn't matter.
Well, let me
Now,
say this. It's
yeah,
gonna come out later. I know you listening to this live. She don't make that much money. So let me put that out there.
exactly. Exactly. But you see how they try to make the job what they do better than what it is. I'm this, I'm that. Trying to, when you go online, you try to make yourself feel a little, seem better than what you already are. We need honesty when approaching someone of different sexes. We need to get back to the point of just being real. I don't care if the chick work at Walmart. If if the chick understands, if the woman understands that she's a great fit because she is not only intelligent but submissive. She understands. She's about supporting a man. I'll take that over a woman who works at corporate America.
Every day and twice on Sunday. But let somebody else go ahead and chime in.
Exactly. So DZ, what you think about this Kevin Samuel video?
Well, firstly, shout out to the panel, shout out to you, DJ, shout out to Hoop Dragon, J Strokes, the rest of the panel here. New media. I think that this is a very like important topic that we should have, like, because firstly, what the brother Kevin Samuels is doing, it's very. I think he opened the discussion, and he brought up to light a lot of the issues that the black community you know, is actually experiencing these days. I feel like as men, we should do a better job at choosing the woman that we date with. The problem is that a lot of us men do not see value within ourselves, and we end up, and also the woman too, like black women, they don't see the value, and not all of them. I'm just seeing a lot of black women and men do not see the value that they have within themselves. As men, is our job to actually make sure that we make better decisions, and you know we should see within ourselves that, look, we are leaders, we are capable of actually, you know of actually choosing the right person in order to procreate with. The problem is that a lot of us men, will fall for the woman that's physically attractive, but she's not intelligent enough you know to actually lead us, like lead us forward. Progress with us and everything. So at the end of the day, we have to make a better decision at choosing who we actually procreate with. I'll say, for example, I went on a date like 1 or 2 weeks ago with a sister, and I told her, like, I asked her a question like, "What do you bring to the table?" And she's like, "Well, I bring sex, I bring love, and that's it." I'm like, and I asked her again, "What do you bring to the table?" And she said it again. And I didn't even call her back for a second date, because I, it's like, you have to bring something of value. And the problem is that we always, always, always try to pick these women just like that, and thinking that we can just, have a great life with them, when they just bring no substance. And it goes both ways, not only men, but also women too. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be a generation of kids that, the same cycle will keep on going, of, of men and women, that, men that end up as simps, and women that end up not taking responsibility for their actions. And I think that as a community, we should have more of a culture, and a real culture. And I feel like the black community right now, we lack culture. If you look at all the other cultures, like Jewish culture, the Arab culture, they have culture. The women are submissive. They respect the man. And as men, we need that. We need that. And it starts with us. It starts with us. It starts with the decisions that we make, and pretty much I wanted to say that. So
Thank you, my brother.
yeah.
And everyone, let's make sure we stay on topic on this. Ruben, what do you think of the Kevin Samuel video that Hoop Jargon just showed? What's your opinion on that whole situation?
Repeat that question again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Kevin Samuel video that Hoop Jargon just played.
I wasn't listening. I was
Yeah, you wasn't there.
working in the background.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Shara Johnson.
I probably heard it because I watch all his videos, but I wasn't listening.
All right, I'm gonna go to Shara Johnson. What do you think of what the Kevin Samuels video that Hoop Jargon played? What's your opinion on it?
So all I heard her say was that she's a pharmacy tech and that she has 2 children, unmarried. Uh, I, so I don't. That's all I heard her say. But and that she was a terrorist, and they started laughing. Oh, I don't know if that was y'all, but I've heard this show one time, and that was. But so for me, I would say like she sounded like a bit young and immature. And as a guy that spoke before me said that we have to bring not just the woman, but even the man and the woman. We have to bring something to the table, not just and like how you said, we have to be honest. Like I feel like honesty has went out the window. Like I don't know. People are shaming each other or making trying to make themselves look better than what they have, or I have this or I have that, but not really being realistically honest with themselves. I think like we have to learn to be true to ourselves, and once people become true to themselves, then they can learn to love someone else. That's the biggest thing. Like I like somebody else said. Like I've been married myself 7 years. I married somebody that had children. I don't have any children. I'm in my late 30s, uh, and I mean, I don't like. I think like so with me and my experience, I helped this man raise his 2 children, get custody of his children, help him start a business, took help him like take well I took out loans for him for his business. So like I was the wife, the supportive wife that helped him, and when his business didn't do well, was the backbone of our family, taking care of everything. So it's not always necessarily the us women are not doing our part. Sometimes it just, for whatever reasons, it may not work out just because, how people always say people don't know themselves, people are not dishonest with themselves. Uh, and so we have to be realistically honest with ourselves, and people have to be honest. Um, my former spouse, he's he. Some people they lie so much they don't know when they telling the truth or when they telling lies, and even when things are in black and white, they don't tell the truth. So we have to get back to telling the truth with ourselves. People have to learn how to heal instead of jumping from relationship to relationship, and then we having these children that's coming in brokenness, and people are wounded. The biggest thing that the young lady said was that she don't want to be in a relationship because she needs to work on herself. That's the biggest thing that we as people we have to do is before we can be in relationship with someone else, we have to heal all of our wounds because that brokenness you transferring from one person to another person to another person. Why are people we as people why are we uh you know being in relationships with people and not as we're not being honest with ourselves, but we also uh, uh, how do I say this? Uh, transferring and I don't know. We're taking on more problems and more hurt than we necessarily would if we just worked on ourselves. That's the bigger picture.
All right, let me step in, DJ, if it's cool.
No doubt.
One thing I don't want to do is denigrate what nobody input is. We all got valuable info to put. I just want us to get a little more timely with our responses because we want to get through the video so we can kind of react in moment. And then at the end, we'll all riff because I think it's great stories to share. But for the interest of time, let's try to get through the video, kind of give your, 30-second to 45-second blurb about what you think so we all can move on because there's 4 people plus in here and that'll help things go a little quicker. So let me just try to impart that.
Hey, how you doing? I watch a lot of Kevin Samuels video, and the thing he always talks about, these women really don't have anything to offer, and they're in their middle age, they have kids, and they're reaching way out of their level. You know, you can't be reaching out for a guy who's 1%, and they're not looking for it. You can't offer anything, you know. And then you have to be submissive. They're not looking for a woman who's going out, had my volume too low, sorry. My volume's all the way up. What the heck? Can you not hear me? Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, these women, these men have their choices. These type of men have their choices of what women they want to. They don't want a 30 something year old woman unless they're in their 50s. You know, if they're in their 40s or their 30s, they want a girl who's in their 20s, you know, no kids, never been married. If you've been married, it's already attack against you. If you have kids, it's already attack against you. And Kevin Samuel's just putting things in perspective. Like, you shouldn't be reaching for people that's not going to be on your level as far as dating. You should, if you have kids, you're kind of messed up, be honest with you, or divorce, And then if you're in your 30s and you're still single as a woman, it's not a good look. Okay, and you're out somewhere. Let's say you're out partying and drinking and stuff, and you do this often. You're just a party girl. No one, a man is not looking for something like that. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
But yeah, I see what you're saying, man. And when the young lady told Kevin that she has 2 kids, and you heard the laughter and on the background, that's because he knows, like everyone else, your options are pretty limited. The best thing I tell women who are single with kids, you have to be with the best match is to be with a man who is single with kids.
Or your baby daddy.
Exactly.
Your baby daddy is the best option. To be honest with you, I think. Because if you're me, I'm not gonna date a girl who has kids. I'm not gonna date a girl who's 35 plus. I'm trying to have kids. So I'm looking for a girl in her 20s. I make pretty good, a decent income. So I'm I'm not and I'm not looking for a woman who's divorced. They have no chance with me. If you're divorced, I'm not even going to talk to you.
Right on, right on. But Jay Strokes, from listening to that clip, what is your observation of the discussion between Kevin Samuels and the young lady?
So right off the bat, Kev questioned the integrity of the phone call or the her getting on because he was asking her like had basically has she listened, has she followed his content, and she wasn't really being respectful of that, the platform and his time. So that was the first thing I noticed. And then Kev does this normal thing where he gets the background information on the chick. What do you do for a living? How many kids you got? Normally he gets into sizes and all that other stuff. I'm assuming that's coming in the video, but I noticed she was very slick at the mouth. And a lot of times, what Kev does when he starts asking questions, he's sizing up the women. He's trying because he's one of those top tier guys that women are looking for. And so he's being a representative, kind of like a gatekeeper, to see if they actually belong or will actually get that. And just judging by the initial tidbit, I'm pretty sure in his head he's thinking, nah, she's not respectful of the time, the platform itself. She thinks this is a game and a joke. He's already basically Xing her out in terms of being being able to get a high value man. But she has 2 kids. Okay, guys are going to obviously look at women different if they have kids. So there's that component. It's a whole lot going on with her. And I think she mentioned, okay, I'm trying to grow and improve upon myself, yada, yada, yada. Well, I got to question the validity of that because you get on this man's platform and you're basically joking around a plan, right? Like, even if it's not a high value man, what man is going to take you serious when you don't even take yourself serious? So to me, even just listening to that, I was just like, no. Like, no. I don't even know this chick and I wouldn't even give her a chance just based off the way she presented herself.
All right, and let's keep it forward. Great feedback. Because I want to get through the video. It's a 14-minute video. We 3 minutes in, y'all. So DJ, if you allow me to, we can move forward unless you got anything to interject, brother.
No, absolutely. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, bet. So we left off. I think the last brother did a great job of narrating where we at. So let's keep it pushing.
So, do you want to have to work after your marriage?
I'm sorry?
I don't know what's going on with your audio, man. Am I on speakerphone or something?
I don't know. It's my phone. Sometimes I wish it was Android. Ain't gonna lie. I have an iPhone 11.
All right. Do you want to have to work after you are pregnant?
Will I work after I'm pregnant?
Do you want to have to work after you're married and pregnant?
How do you know that?
I said, do you want to?
Oh, would I want to? Yeah, of course not.
Meaning, do you want to have to work as a wife, or do you want to be a stay-at-home mom?
I want to be both. I want to be a partner. Depending, like...
You need both. Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills in the household as a woman?
No.
All right. So that means you want a man who's a primary provider and breadwinner.
Yes, sir.
That means he has to pay for your 2 children and then any additional children. What state do you live in?
I live in Florida.
All right. So how much would a man need to make to pay for 2 children, 3 children, a wife, and himself to have a middle class life? How much would he need to make? I'm talking about just simple middle class life, house in the suburbs. Kids get cars at 16 years old. If they want to go to college, mom and dad can pay for it. Daughters got married, family can pay for it. Just middle class. How much would you need to make?
I mean, oh no, what have I done?
Stepped into life. You're 30. You said you don't want to keep doing this. So this is what you've been waiting for, right? This should be easy.
Yeah, but it's different because like I see life in a whole different.
Yeah, but you can see life in a whole different way. But when you go to check out with the groceries, the bill is due. The mortgage has to be paid. You can't pay life bills on tarot energy. So let's get real. How much does he need to make?
Actually, hold on. I changed my whole mind state. You just touched something, okay? So, in different words, I decide that I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? If that's an extra, actually that's extra. Because I can provide for myself and I can provide for my kids on my own. Having a man is actually extra.
Hold on.
Yes, it is.
Hold on. You can provide? What is there father in the life?
All right, so let me stop it right there before we get to him picking and prodding a little closer. So we progressed about another 2.5 minutes. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I know what I'm looking at, but I want some of the other panelists to chime in. So again, keep it 30 to 45 seconds if possible. Y'all tell me what y'all observed going forward in the conversation.
And we're going to start with Jay Strokes.
Okay, so immediately what stood out to me is Kevin is having to basically harass her out of the answers. She won't just answer the question. It's Again, it's a game to her. Um, and he's constantly, okay, ma'am, can you do this? Can you do that? Okay, can you answer this question? Okay, he's having to constantly, just for little simple stuff, he's having to pick and prod that out of her. That's number one. Number two, she doesn't have any respect for the masculine principles or the masculine side of everything. Closer to the end of the clip, she stated that basically having a man is an option. She doesn't view manhood as a necessity. And I know she was like, okay, I'm changing my thoughts process and all this other stuff. When Kevin started to explain to her and it started to hit, okay, this is going to be what's required of you. All of a sudden, she didn't want what she thought she wanted. So, in context of all of this, she wants a husband, but she don't respect a man enough to have a husband. Nor do I think she spent enough time actually looking at what is required of her as a wife.
Boy, that was fire, J Strokes, man. That's why I
Facts.
like,
Facts.
man. That's why I like having them on, man. Shara Johnson, would you like to elaborate?
Um, so as a woman, I am a bit embarrassed. To me, I feel like she in this clip, this I don't know, this female grown girl is immature. Like because you don't call you don't I don't know, but you don't do this. Like this is embarrassing to me as a woman. As I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just a bit embarrassed. Like you don't get on the panel and people ask you questions and you say you're working on yourself and you clueless. So it's embarrassing for me as a woman to sit and listen to someone that is 30 years old, the female gender, to speak in this way. I don't have anything else, but I'm just embarrassed.
And
And
to add,
sister, I'm gonna warn you, it's gonna get worse. All right, but go ahead, DJ.
yeah, to add on to Sister Shara Johnson, the most embarrassing part about that clip was when he was asking direct questions, she was fiddling around trying to make herself seem better, that make her answer seem better to the viewers. But what she did was she made herself look like an ass. She was all over the place. First, she said she wanna, like when he asked her about, do you want to be a stay-at-home mother where the guy can be the breadwinner pretty much? And she was like, well, I want both things. Well, shit, we all know that's impossible. You can't be a stay-at-home mother and be the worker. This is not how it works.
That's
So
what makes it so embarrassing.
yeah, that's impossible. So what she was doing is trying to play to the crowd, say like, we could do everything. That's just fantasy. That's not real life.
Mhm.
Um, Kevin Samuels does a great job of trying to get the direct answers stated whenever he has a question. Every time he has a question, he wants you to answer his questions precisely, not long sentences. As you know, when you go on these YouTube channels, a lot of these people be long-winded. Just give the answer. That's what Kevin Samuels is asking her.
All right, everybody else want to chime in real quick?
This this girl here is just the typical mid-30s kids, have no vision, don't know what they want. They just living life day to day. She couldn't answer any of the questions. You know, basic things. Do you want to, like you said, do you want to work or do you want to be a stay-at-home mother? She don't even know. And there's so many women, especially black women. There's so many women like that. And their emotions go left, they go right. They meet somebody, they sleep with them. Then they're back to the next relationship because they really don't have any goals or vision for their life. It's kind of sad. I meet girls like this all the time, and I keep walking, but it's You know, it's kind of sad, you know, but that's the reality, you know. And her kids are going to go in that same cycle. They're going to go in that same cycle. Either they're going to be in jail, but they're going to have single house relationships, and it's going to keep going on and on until she has to make a change in her life or something, because she's already messed up. She has to get back with her baby dad. That's the only way she can fix that. But that's all I had to say.
Bro, and I want to lead in with this. What you said is more prophetic than you think, and you're gonna see at the end of this video. But as far as I'm not gonna beat dead horses. DJ, very astute, will point out that he asked direct questions, and that is something that in the business world you learn. That's called having soft skills, asking direct questions, asking for a real answer so you can move the conversation forward, move the transaction forward. As you see, when asked direct questions, she is struggling. And she's very silly about it. I wish you could see the video. She kind of looked like a poor woman's Lauren Hill type of chick. Um, so she's struggling through these questions. So that's something I noticed right off the rip. And again, with the prophecy, she's 30 with 2 kids and does not have a plan. That is a very scary dynamic for raising 2 other, and you'll learn it's going to be 2 girls that she's raising. That is very scary of you putting more Black women into this paradigm with a mother who has no direction. So let me leave it there as we keep rolling. If anybody else got anything real quick, let's roll.
Yes. And he does a great job raising them. We're not together, but he does a great job
So you don't want any additional
participating in their lives. Sir?
So you don't want any additional children?
I do.
I think in the midst of all this is a lot of women. You don't necessarily a bad person. You just misguided. So she's very well mannered and she's a good person, just with no direction. Let me say that as we keep going.
Up, it's not playing.
The marriage. I was going down the marriage path, but you said you don't want that. So if you want a kid, you mean you want to be a baby mama again?
Oh, I want a marriage, but look, I want love. You know, unconditional love, not
that's cool. That's cool, but that don't pay the bills. You gotta be grown-ups. You're 30, right? Well, let's grow up. Love is cool, but babies cost. If you want to have another child, either you want to be a baby mama or you want to be a wife. Either one, no judgment. Which path?
I want to be a wife.
Huh?
I want to be a wife, sir.
All right, and I asked you, did you want a man who's paying most of the bills around the house?
Yes, he's supposed to pay all the bills around
the house. No, he's not supposed to do nothing. Your current situation ain't paying all the bills.
I'm paying all my bills.
Exactly, because you're a man. So how much would a man need to make to pay for a wife and a family of 3?
A decent amount.
That's not. I'm expecting a 30-year-old woman to answer.
For an average, between 50 to 100,000, maybe.
For a family of 5?
Or actually a family of, or probably a little bit more. Yes, sir.
See, what this example tends to show when I do this is how, and I mean no disrespect, but how innumerate women are and how emotional and flighty y'all are, but you just don't want to put numbers to it. So, do you make more than $50,000 a year?
No.
You said you're a pharmacy tech?
Yes.
You have 2 kids?
Yes.
Do you live with somebody else or you have your own place?
My own place.
All right. Are you paid hourly?
Huh?
Are you paid hourly?
Yes.
So, yeah, man, a family of 5 to where a woman doesn't have to work, you're talking around $300,000 a year in Florida. Yeah, you may be able to provide, put a roof over your kids' head. College, this, that, it's just the basics. So the questions I'm asking really should be hard at 30 years old.
Because okay.
All right, let's stop it right there. So it's gonna get fun at the conclusion. So DJ, take it over, man.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels for pointing this point that love does not pay the bills. This is something that every father tells their kids of the realities of relationships. Don't go into a relationship thinking this is some type of Cinderella of real life. It's not. A marriage, when you marry someone, you're a part of their culture, their identity, their life. It's more than just finding love out of nowhere. Do you fit with this partner? Do you want to build with this partner? You got to have set goals and you got to have realistic expectations. This woman, man, she doesn't know what she wants, man. She doesn't know what a good man is. And I'm going to be honest, man. I know the brother Ruben said black women, but I've seen all types of women think like this. You'd be surprised. Really, it comes down to if you have family structure or not. The women who have family structure, no matter what race they are, they seem to get it. If you don't have it, most times you're just going to be lost in the sauce. And I definitely want to hear Jay Stroke's uh, opinion on this.
I'm still reeling from that loud tiger roar she let off in the beginning when he restarted it. Bro, I was like, I literally backed up. I was like, wait a minute, did somebody might go off? And then I realized it was her. Yeah, I all I gotta say, man, is she's delusional. And no offense to any single mothers that are out there maybe listening, but I feel like she was raised in a single parent household and she didn't have a father or any kind of male figure, and it shows. But she has these unrealistic expectations, and she thinks because hey, I'm here, just come take me away. That's supposed to be enough. Um, I've seen plenty of women like her, and it's usually all the same nonsense. Think we're special. I deserve this. Blah 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 blah. Man, she come up do this, and that's just not the way it is. And even how she's talking to Kevin, it's alarming, right? Kevin is telling you or putting out, okay, this is what men are going to be looking for. And I don't think she's getting that he's showing, hey, look, this is also an audition because other men like me watch. If you might want to check yourself, but she didn't get it. She's a little too aloof. And like I said earlier, she don't respect masculinity in that way. You could tell by the way she talks. But I don't want to take up too much time. I want everybody else to get their say, and then so we can move on to the video. So I'm gonna keep it quiet right now.
So, Sister Shara Johnson, I know you have a lot to say on this. What do you think about this young lady? When Who Jargon showed this, I think the third clip, I thought she lost her damn mind. So, what do you think about that?
So I'm disappointed, but I'm just disappointed. But then I have to just come to a realization and the reality of that's just some female. So I think we have to, like, for you men, you have to take away the perspective of that you all keep calling her a woman. She's not a woman. She's a girl. You have to take that perspective away, because me as a woman, uh, I would never answer those questions in that way. Whether my question, whether I would say what, whether it would be that I do want to have children, I don't want to have children, whatever it is, you have to be firm and knowing what it is that you want. Like I don't even know if I don't even feel like at this point that she's even 30. I feel like mentally she's 12 with two children that's suffering because she's not a real adult. And I grew up and I must say that it doesn't have anything to do with uh, not having a father, because I didn't have a father in my home. I grew up in a single parent home. My mother raised 8 children. So that's not the thing that we have to take away from it. But it's, yeah, she's just in the delusional, overgrown kid. I'm just, I don't know, but yeah. This is blasphemy as a woman.
All right, DJ, I'll step in if that's okay.
Take the floor, my brother.
Yeah, and you know what? And I want to give much respect to the sister for being able to sit here and listen to this shit, because I know it hurt listening to this. I know it hurt. And what I want to impart upon you as well, there are more women like this than you think, because a lot of women who have this same mentality call into his show on a daily basis. Now, this is from his Instagram show, which he's kind of opened up, so he has more people. But a lot of women who are like this, and I feel you. Like, I would be embarrassed for you too. And it's like, you can say we can't call her a woman, but society says this is a black queen. So we got to keep all this shit in the right context. So this is a woman who walks around calling herself a black queen. She got the natural hair going. So how, it's hard to really, typecast somebody. But if I were, I'm a salesman by trade, I can read people pretty well, like Kevin does. That's how she purports herself. I'll bet my life on that, right? So these are your black queens. Sometimes, not all, but this is who goes out and calls himself a black queen, has no plan whatsoever. And I think the brother hit it all on the nails, man. Like, she's very whimsical. Like, he's asking her direct questions. And she basically changed her whole position in like within 7 minutes of conversation to digress to "I want love." Like, that's that Disney shit. That's the Disney programming that you brothers who follow Chronicles of Judah 144. He talks about a lot. Disney programming giving you basically an inflated sense of reality based on some Prince Charming coming to your house and finding you and come scooping you up. Not realistic. So that's kind of what she suffers from, even though she you'll see him a little more about her spirituality as we keep going. But at the end of the day, she's just like any other woman who subscribes to that paradigm, no matter what your belief system is. And she's talking about the man supposed to pay bills, and Kevin did a really good job of checking that real quick. He's like, "Oh, well, tell me how that's working for you right now. What man paying your bills? No man. You got two kids already." So it's just funny to see how it's just not aligning. The idealism is not aligning with the realism, and that's what a lot of women they struggle with, because you got to keep fighting about what you were told and what you think should happen from what life has shown you. And then lastly, she has no real context about what numbers mean. Everything's holistic. Everything is, well, it'll work itself out. And in some cases it does. But if you're a grown up, she's 30 years old, you got to start putting some pen to paper, man. And what you're going to find out later is she mentioned that she lives by herself, and you'll see she lives with her mother. So they probably split the bills. So we'll get to that. And I just want to add those little anecdotal parts to what's going on, DJ.
Brother, man, guess who we got in the chat? We got Uncle Vern. Let me play his theme song.
All right.
Let me tell you something. Back in my day, let me show you.
Give me a logo.
What's good, Uncle Vern? How you doing, man?
Hey, DJ, hey, I appreciate you, man, as always, man. All praise is due to the Most High, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
Hey, look here, DJ, man. Look here. I like the subject matter today, man. Look here, man. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing wrong with the women, man. You know what's wrong with the women? You know what's wrong with the thing, though? It's the system. The system been like that, man, since you was a child, man. You know, when they wouldn't allow fathers in the home because women had to get what they had to get, because your parents and your forefathers had to get what they had to get. So they didn't do that, so they cut them out. Now that they cut back in, women more or less to a certain extent, they hustling. Not just from one end of the spectrum, but to the other end of the spectrum. You understand me? So they have to a certain extent, get in where they fit in. And they got to force their way in sometimes. It look like they forcing their way in. And they ain't got nothing to bring to the table too much. But, what they past. And their past might be drug addiction or some kids or a bad baby's daddy. And they trying to find better for theirs. But they got to hustle and they got to scheme and get in on because it ain't too much out there they can get in on with. And like that man just stated, not only did you got black women out there hustling trying to get at these black men, you got white women out there trying to get at them too. And they being very successful because there's a lot of successful ones out there. So like I said before, DJ, look here, man, look here. It's a such thing as a thing called prenuptial, what is it? That prenuptial. So that cuts all that out right there. You come in established. Look here, I like your attitude. Look, do you know how to cook? My last girlfriend didn't know how to cook. You know how to cook? Hey, that's a good time. How many kids you got? Bring them on in. I can afford that too. As long as you come in with a good attitude. But if you ain't coming in with a good attitude, this is a piece of paper right here that says, look here, you can be cut off. And you can take your kids with them.
Man, Uncle's a savage, man.
Look. Hey, DJ, you already know in a professional life, especially when it pertains to black individuals, whether they women or men, that's how it goes, and that's how it got to go because it only makes sense. Because you have to protect something, you have to protect yours, and you're protecting your wealth. You don't know what Tom and Susan saw themselves trying to do, what that's going on with them, but you know what you're trying to do. So you have to protect that. It's called a prenuptial. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Unc, man, I got to ask you from the wise words of this question's from Hoop Jargon. So, Unc, you don't chase them, you replace them, right?
But to a certain extent, no, because you got to kick them. Hold up. Either you kick to the curb, or they're gonna kick you to the curb. Because remember, it's a relationship. And what happened in a relationship? Emotions are involved. What happened with emotions? They come and they go. Hey, what about your money? You got to protect something. You got to protect your future. You want your money to come and go too?
Yeah, you wanted to take your house?
You want the house to go too? I mean,
Bruh, man.
talk to me.
Hey, Uncle Vern, man, you've seen a lot of podcasts, man. What you think about this channel we have here, man? It got to be the best. Ain't no lie.
I love it, DJ, because like I told you before, you deal with subject matters. You deal with a whole lot of subject matters that pertain to us black peoples. I don't know who's listening or who's catching on, but you deal with a lot of subject matters pertaining to your people. And that's good. You can't lose that way. Because whether it goes politics, sexual addictions, drug addictions, gang banging, it's a subject matter. And it's a subject matter that needs to be talked about. And just like this subject matter. Man, look, DJ. You talk about the NFL, the NBA, the National Baseball Association. Look, man, it's a whole lot of things going on. It's a whole lot. I don't think that lady, man, DJ, to this, I don't think that lady's a gold digger. I think she's looking out for hers. She just ain't got much to bring to the table. She ain't got Oprah Winfrey money. And just like AJ said, it's like a job. All the really do is she ain't doing no interview for a job interview.
She ain't got nothing.
Hey,
Oprah Winfrey. I mean, like she
hey,
basically did
that's
it.
typical. That's
Come on
typical
now.
in our neighborhoods. That's typical. You hear me?
Oh yeah, man.
I
And
hear you.
we got True the King in the building, man. What you think about this discussion, brother?
So
Hey,
answer the
to the
phone.
king.
Yeah, who's at the office right now?
No, mute,
Oh, that's
mute
me.
your
That's
mic.
the phone.
All right, if everybody complete, man, we can keep it rolling, man. Hey, Unc got it cracking, man. DJ, it's your show. You tell me what's what, man.
Exactly, man. Let's roll the clip.
All right, without further ado, my man say the National Baseball Association.
Okay, another thing, and I didn't want to touch it because I'm not like really, you know, I'm not a confrontational person.
Okay.
I honestly believe in my spirit. You feel me? I believe in my ancestors, and they help me. You feel me? Move through life. So when you ask me about the numbers, this and the that,
Hold on.
I don't know.
The audio's off. The audio's off.
You can hear me?
Now I can. You said you say again. You
I
believe.
said when you were the honest answer, I cannot give it to you. I would love to get married. One day I would love to have another child. I would love to have that nice life. But I cannot put numbers, you feel me? I can't give you exact numbers of what you think a man should be making, what they should be doing.
What were you saying about your ancestors?
Sir?
What were you saying about your ancestors?
My ancestors, I was saying that I go, the spirits, my ancestors, that's what I follow. You feel me? They are the ones that give me my answers. So like, I can't. When you was giving me those numbers and stuff, I can't. They gonna give it to me. You feel me? Like I'm in a whole different world, sir.
You have daughters?
Yes.
Ma'am?
Yes.
This is the real world.
This is the real world, and spirits are real.
Yeah, but you cannot deposit a spirit in Bank of America.
You just don't know. You just don't know.
What Bank of America? Okay. I'm not trying to insult your beliefs.
No, you go ahead, because no religion
No,
is
I
better
know
than
I'm
the
not.
other.
But what I'm saying
No
is,
religion is better than the other. Go ahead.
I didn't say it was, but what I'm saying is that's fine. But every religion has to have a practical component. There's the spirit and there's the real world. And sorry, you, as a parent and as an adult, going through life with two children to raise, in this, I'm going to let the ancestors, they're going to have to be real world things. The stuff I'm asking you is just adult stuff.
Yes. I'm
serious.
I don't have...
All right. I can't take it no more, man. We got to stop it. We got to discuss. Get it, DJ.
Man, you know, like the great Tupac said, I get around. She's around. She's like a merry-go-round. She's round and round, round she go. I mean, she all over the damn place. Like she talking about the spirit. She talking about this, deflecting, and that's all she's doing. She's going around and around in circles. And all Kevin Samuels wanted was a straight line answer. That's all he wanted. But I see ton of chicks doing this. It's a yes or no question. It's a simple question. We don't need 2 minutes to explain. Why are you single? Why you're not married? It's not hard. And I'm going to pass it down to Shard Johnson because I know she about to cook.
I'm not going to cook because I think like as the older man spoke, he said that we have to. I mean, that's just the reality of some people that come from my neighborhood. I mean, again, I mean, from listening to this video, from like the second, to third time that he played it, I don't. Once I uh, realized that we was dealing with someone that was maybe incapable of answering these questions. My my I just stopped wanting and believing for more. I just realized that it was just going to be below average, because that's all she can give. So I don't, just me being a female, it's just embarrassing, but then it's also the reality that we have to deal with in life. And so it just makes it harder for a woman as myself in this world because of people like this. But I don't know, it's just heartbreaking.
DJ, who else you got on elected, man? We gotta. This is funny.
Yeah. True to King, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
What
So,
you think
DJ, what
about?
up? What up? What up, panel?
What good? What's good, man? What you think about the buffoonery that you just heard?
I
Uh,
heard a little bit of it, and it was like, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I was lost. To tell you the truth, like I'm like, I don't know, man. It just get people. It's that's the reality we live in, though, man. I don't know, man. Like it's crazy.
bro, these chicks out here, they got all these brothers lost, man.
It's like people,
We
people are
become
lost, man.
useless out here.
Like it's crazy. It's like I mean, it's not. It's that's what it is. But it's like it's the reality of we live in. It's like now it's like how can we fix it and what I mean I don't know, man. I like people like that like stuck in their ways, man. Majority of the time, like I ain't saying people can't change it all, but like a lot of times you thinking like that at that age, man, you ain't really changing, man.
Yeah, and there's no way this lady is 30. She probably is, but her mind is of an immature brat.
And I mean 30. That's like now that's I mean that's what I'm talking about the change where it's like shoot. I mean I mean you don't got a lot. I mean, I don't know. You at that time, at that age, it's like, man, like you thinking like that age, man, whew, like,
Not to mention with 2 kids.
yeah, you raising two, like I said, that's in the cycle, that's the cycle. You know what I mean? You thinking like that, you raise your kids like, I mean, it's a never ending cycle.
Right. And Rev says, DJ, everybody who say they wake ain't woke might be in a coma, you dig? Yep. Nobody's really that woke as they say they are. If they were, they would understand that building a family is the most important thing. It's a gift from the Most High. When you
Yeah,
build
like,
something, you know how it is, true. When you build something with
yeah,
a good woman, man.
it's like it's a like you it's a it's a simple team concept to make it simpler, to make it simple. You know what I mean? Like it's better to have a family structure. There's no you can't there's no arguing that. I don't care what you're believing or whatever you believe in. The family structure of a man and a female and the roles that apply. That's the most effective. Simple as that.
Yeah, man. You can't count out the stats, man.
I mean, like I mean, just make it simple. Is what it is, man. But people don't care about the facts, though. That's the thing. People don't care about the fact. They believe in this. They believe in these narratives. They put this stuff out there and these stereotypes. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Brother,
Like Rev said earlier in the stream, like with the Beyonce thing. I'm a single lady and I'm this and that, but she's home. She's married to her one. Like people. It's
That was
like
Hoop
it's
Jargon. That's Hoop Jargon said that, not real.
Oh, my fault. My fault. My
You good,
fault.
brother?
I was listening earlier. I forgot when you were. Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. It was a scam. Like it's like it's crazy. Like I don't know.
right, man. But this was a fun show. And everyone in the chat, you want me to make more videos like this? I like this type of, topics. Don't worry, I'll still talk about the Ball Bros late at night.
Triple B's.
I know that was coming up. But, Yeah, this was great, man. We gotta do more shows on this hoop jargon. Thank you for moderating and being informative. Shout out to Rev. Shout out to everyone who supports new media. Get with the movement. Show love to everybody, man.
Also, there's a game tonight.
What time is the game? Let me see.
8:50, I think, or no, I mean not 8:50. It's like 7.
They better hope Aaron Gordon don't play. Because if Aaron Gordon plays, I'm gonna say like I said last night, it's gonna be trouble.
They have to put PJ Washington on him or somebody like that because he has too much size, and he has
That's
the
at 4
quickness.
o'clock. 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 Eastern.
Oh, I'm in Florida, so.
All right. Shout out to the people in Florida.
Yeah, I make sure I don't run into this girl here at the pharmacy.
Oh, heck no.
The
Y'all got them all the way down at the swamps of Florida. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have Vernon, Uncle Vern, give the last word. What's up, Uncle Vern? Uncle Vern, you still there? He probably asleep.
Uncle Vern having business over here, man. You over there messing with him, man.
That shit for the streets.
Look at here.
You take your money out of your pocket right now, man.
You there, Uncle Vern?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we want you to give the last word, my brother.
Look, DJ, it's like I said, man, this is the conclusion to all the things, man. You got something. If you got something to protect, bro, if you got something financially to protect in a relationship like that, man, I'm gonna tell you, just because we dating don't mean we married. Listen, if you got something to protect, get a prenuptial, man. It's just that simple, brothers. I'm telling you, look it up. It's prenuptial.
Bro, he's spitting that game today.
It's called when you leave, you go with what you came in with, and if you kids, and we can work with them too. It's called with what you came in here with, you leave with that. That's what it's called. It's called prenuptial. I know God gave us common sense too, a whole lot of that, and it's called a prenuptial. I might be saying it, pronouncing it wrong, but hey, I love y'all, man. New media.
You heard it, man. New media, man. Shout out to Uncle Vern. And we haven't forgot your theme song. We're going to play it now.
Let me tell you something. Back in my day, let me show you.
Gotta love Uncle Vern, man. Gotta love him, man. But thank you all for joining the show. I'm going to have another video like at 5 Pacific time. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl matchup. Tom Brady, the GOAT, versus the upcoming prodigy of Patrick Mahomes. So stay tuned to that. New media, all praise to the Most High, man. Let's go.